subscribe our channel, stay till the end of the stories for more twist and turn. Comment us about what kind of stories you like to hear. My 14 female dad left after I told my mom that he molested me. 5 days ago, my dad, 52, left. I started the day knowing that I wanted to ask my mom, 51, for professional help due to being molested by my dad when I was 7-10, I'm not sure exactly when, but it only happened one time. I told her that I was struggling with OCD again, I was taking a medication for my asthma and that's one of the side effects. Skeptical, I'm not saying that I have had OCD, but the symptoms have been going away now that I'm not taking it anymore. I eventually told her that it was actually for something else as well, the trauma. Later on in the day, she asked me again, saying that she can't help me if she doesn't know what's wrong. I don't know why, but I told her what happened. She asked me if I needed him to leave. I told her yes. He was in a meeting at the time, so once he was out, my mom spoke to him. I'm not sure exactly what she said to him, but I know that she told him that I remember it. I heard him come upstairs, but he didn't come into my room, so he was probably getting something. Then he left. He took the car and just left. It was a weird day, I cried quite a lot. Later on, my mom told my 16 brother, who was out with friends earlier, that they'd split. I've never been close with him and he's never really shown his emotions, but I can tell he's upset over it. She didn't say why, but I want to tell him what happened eventually because I think he deserves to know. All I know about my dad right now is that he's at a friend's. I don't hate him, I know that he's tried to be a better person because he was an alcoholic for a long time. He stopped drinking in 2016. He said to my mom that he doesn't remember anything, and that he's never searched for child porn or anything. The reason that he doesn't remember it is because he used to get blackout drunk nightly. I've never known much about his drinking anyway, but my mom didn't know this until 5 days ago, when they had a conversation. I've learned a lot about my dad that I didn't know before. He lied to my mom for 2 years that he wasn't drinking. She thought he was completely sober, until he got his driving license revoked due to drunk driving. I also learned that last Christmas, he said to my mom that he wanted to break up, they weren't married so they can't divorce. She said that they should stay together for a bit because she didn't want to add stress to my brother with his exams. Then quarantine hit, and she said that she could tell that my mental health wasn't good, so she didn't say anything. This is insane, I really don't know how she did it. But, I've always secretly wanted them to split. I even remember telling my best friend in year 6, 5th grade I think, that I thought they were going to split. The idea was great, but now that it's finally happening it's not all so great. It would have happened anyway, but I really regret telling her about it. I really don't know what to do. My dad texted my mom saying that he wanted to turn himself into the police but she told him not to because I'm not ready for that yet. I don't know if I should contact the police. I don't want to ruin his life though. I don't really feel much about it. I will eventually, but I think I'm in shock right now. I have no idea how I should go about this. Any advice? My mom that he molested me. Oh hon, first of all this is not your fault. None of this is your fault. This is not your fault. Being drunk is not an excuse. You were right to tell your mom. She sounds like a good woman. Talk to her. Talk to a therapist. It might even help to go to therapy with your mom. But don't feel guilty for telling her, and use her and your therapist's guidance to help you through what to do next. You're not alone in this. Thank you. I know that it wasn't my fault but I can't help but think it was. I shouldn't feel guilty but I do. I really love my mom, and we've spoken about maybe going to therapy, together or separately. I think she just wants to put it off because I've said that I'm not ready for the police to be involved yet, if they ever do get involved. You really should go, even if it means the therapist has to file a report with the police. While we at Reddit are usually decent advice givers, we are far from professionals. Let the therapist and your mom decide how to proceed. It's your time to be a kid, I know you're not a kid. I was a teen once too lol. First of all, let me marvel at how brave you are to tell the truth and stand up for yourself. That must have been insanely difficult to do. Next, I have to say that your mother is a hero. I know so many people who, when they finally worked up the courage to tell their parents what happened, were not believed and even accused of being liars and troublemakers. Your mother listened and took you at your word, and asked what you needed. The fallout that is happening in your family is the result of your father's actions. And not just the one incident with you, but his whole history of alcoholism. It is sad, in a way, but he brought this on himself. He is an adult and can get help and find his own path forward. You are still a child, so now it is the responsibility of the family to pull the wagons around you and help you get better. Your mother is doing that. Your brother certainly deserves a chance, but he is young himself and this may bring up issues for him that may preclude him from being much help for you right now. Keep moving forward. You are, sadly, not alone. 65,000 reports are filed every year of child sexual abuse. Who knows what goes unreported? This is an experience many face and many come through it okay. We know a lot more that we used to, and a good therapist can be a valuable asset. It is terrible that this responsibility fell on you. Adults are supposed to protect children. Children are not supposed to have to call adults out for failing to protect them. But you stepped up when the moment called for it, and hope you see better days ahead. I, male 24, think I have strong feelings towards my wives, female 22, best friend, female 22. I've been kind of fighting these thoughts for almost 2 years now. I married my wife almost 2 years ago, and the day of the wedding I realized my wife's best friend is very attractive. I thought it was cold feet or whatever. Fast forward a bit and I noticed I still had these feelings, so I thought it was just lust and sexual attraction. I love my wife, I've never stopped loving her. But I can't help but feel like if I am strongly attracted to someone else and have urges to pursue that, maybe I shouldn't waste her time. Now my wife and her best friend are close. Real close, but not in the overly uncomfortable way. Like touching or no limits kinda deal. They talk every day and I found myself jealous of both of them. Jealous my wife talks to the best friend and jealous the best friend talks to the wife. The best friend is socially limited and wants a boyfriend. The wife and I mutually thought of an idea of me maybe talking to her more to get her more comfortable with talking to a guy. Now I had two ideas with this. One, friend zone her so her and I have nothing to fear. To get it in her head that I'm a friend, not some random guy she might end up with. Here's where it might get confusing. I don't know if she has a crush on me. My wife has told me multiple times that she thinks she has a crush on me. She asked her once and she denied it too. When I talk to her I don't get vibes that she has a crush on me, but I'm also not trying to orchestrate that. However, I have discovered that my feelings towards this best friend are not easy to hide from myself anymore. To make matters worse is the best friend and I have a lot going against us to work out. She has a weird ideology of what a relationship should be. She has no experience dating. She also makes quick swift decisions on little information or reasons. Also she's petty. Here's what I'm struggling with. I don't wanna do anything if it's gonna destroy my wife and her best friend's relationship. I don't know if I should stick with my wife even with feelings for another woman. I don't wanna waste her time. That doesn't help anyone. Finally, I don't know if I should talk to a therapist and make sure this isn't just fears of commitment, or some other BS on why I'm feeling this way. Ultimately my wife and I are compatible, but so is the best friend and I. In my opinion. TL, Doctor, I love my wife. I think I love her best friend. Not sure to RIP everything up and start over, continue where I'm going, or pursue this possible new love. WTF? Is this a real post? You two came up with an idea to have you talk to her best friend so she would be comfortable with talking to men? What's next? You two coming up with the idea of sleeping with her to ease into being with a man? Are you sure you all are in your 20s, because it surely sounds like something 12-year-olds would do. This whole thing is creepy. Stay away from her and either keep the vows you made to your wife or divorce her before cheating like a decent human being would do. I agree with this 100%. Do you have any morals or values? You're seriously considering trying to be with the best friend of your wife? Really? Why would you have to friend zone someone who knows that you're married? This makes me sick. Also, the girl already told you she didn't have any romantic interest. I can't tell if this is real or if people really think this way. You shouldn't have ever gotten married. I sincerely believe that if you want a marriage to work, it has to take priority over every other relationship. If you want to leave your marriage and pursue the other relationship, what if you have feelings for someone else? Are you going to go after the next person? And the next? Relationships, especially marriages, can't be dispensable. Love isn't just attraction. Love takes work and often requires sacrifices. And it might require you to stop hanging out with your wife's friend. I'd encourage talking with your wife. I don't think you're wasting her time. You're going to have feelings for other people. That doesn't mean that it's time to move on. In my marriage I feel attractions to people sometimes too, it's normal. But I make a point of distancing myself from those people and telling my husband about it, and I know my husband would do the same for me. Also, I think counseling is never a bad idea, maybe even couples counseling? I've thought about couples counseling too. I can't avoid the friend completely. If I'm gonna be honest, my main worry is that I jumped the gun and might have married not the one or the same with her. Thanks for listening so far. If story have an update, we will post here. Like, subscribe to our channel for upcoming stories.